So I don't kind of feel like you're lying to yourself or worried about the risk here. The reason I'm saying that is because we do start off with the Page of Swords. So I'll get to those sevens in a moment. But with the Page of Swords coming up, it's getting more information. That's what the Page of Swords is about. Or you may have some information, but you're trying to figure out what that means. What that means, right? Now, at a very mundane level, and I don't usually go for the mundane interpretations of the cards. I like to stick to the energies. But one of the mundane interpretations of, what do I mean by that? I mean a day-to-day interpretation of it, right? So whereas, so this is seen as a spy. So one of the mundane interpretations of the Page of Swords is when we're stalking someone's social media. That's a mundane interpretation. Nothing wrong with it. It just means it's very day-to-day, how we practically use it. But the energy of this card is it's a page. Pages lack the experience of the kings and queens. So when we get a page, it's the very beginning of that. It's a very innocent look at that. They don't have the experience. They don't have the knowledge of the other court cards, not even the knights. And so with the Page of Swords, look at her. She looks enraptured by, wow, what's this? What have I got here? It's a new truth. But she doesn't yet know what it means to her. Maybe she doesn't know it's a sword and she's trying to figure out, what is this? What do I do with it? And that's where you are. You may have received some news, you may have received some information, but you're not quite sure what to do with it. And that's what I think July is very much about establishing. Well, okay, if this is the truth, because we all have subjective truths, not overall truths. If this is my truth, then what do I do with it? What does that mean for me? Now, I do want to say this back to that mundane interpretation with the Page of Swords and the Five of Cups. You may have received some news. And it would have been in the past. It's not coming. You're coming into this July like this. And this is kind of the undercurrent of what's going on. You may have received some news which is left you kind of feeling like this, like, you know, with regrets or thinking I missed out on that. Or, you know, I've lost out on something. That's the Five of Cups. It's not the happiest of cards, you can imagine, because the Three Cups have fallen over. It says, I don't have the support for this, or you know, you've heard something about something, but please be aware. We have Mercury retrograde in July, and when Mercury, and we hear about how computers stop working and phones stop working. I kind of see more at the core of Mercury retrograde. It's our understanding of things. We may not react the way we normally do. We may not have the same thoughts about things as we normally do. It is a time for reflecting, reevaluating, and that's the Sevens energy as well, where we reevaluate. So, you know, and it can go both ways. Maybe you thought you'd missed out on something and now you found out something else. Like, okay, well, you know, I found this out about this. Maybe it's better for me that I missed out on that. Or, you know, you find out that all is not lost. That even though that the Three Cups have fallen, and with the Five of Cups, the danger is always that we get stuck here. Well, all we can see is what's missing. We don't go looking for what is still there or what we can do with what's left. All we can focus on is, well, this is wrong, or this is not right with this, or it's not going the way I want it to. Fives can feel very intense. That's why I always call them the agents of chaos. And we get the Five of Cups as intense emotions of regret or loss or missed opportunities. But all is not lost with those two cups there. And I feel with that Page of Swords, it's about going out and getting the information that you need, asking the questions. It's okay not to understand. I don't know everything. I always say, I don't know. I will ask questions. There's nothing wrong to ask questions, you know. Tupac said it, even the genius asks questions, right? That's the same thing. It's okay to ask questions. That's how we further our understanding. Now, what comes up with that Page of Swords? So not only do you have this new idea that you're trying to understand, around it we have an emotion, and that's at the heart of it, the focus. So maybe you've figured something out around a loss or a regret or missed opportunity, and now you're looking at, well, how do I feel about that? And you see his little face and he's looking at the fish. Now that fish, it's in his cup. So there's something here that is asking for us to look at it, to nurture it, to grow it, because that fish can't live in the cup, but there is something here. And so if you take nothing else away from this reading, I would say that, you know, whatever you're feeling, it's real. It's really there. Because, you know, sometimes we poo-poo our emotions and say, well, that can't be real. Or I'm just being silly. No, you're not. No, you're not. There is something here. There is something here. But what you do with it is key. And that's at the heart of everything. You know, and even if and that's a new emotion. Because I kind of feel that there's, you know, some people might feel that this information that's coming in, or something that you've heard, or, you know, even an idea that you have with the Page of Swords, it may feel like the timing is off. it may feel like the timing is off because of the Five of Cups. Because you're busy kind of looking at, well, I'm mourning the loss of this or regretting this, whatever. And I have time to, it's shifting your focus, right? You're going from one of loss, the past, to how do I build this? How do I grow this? Pages are very similar to aces for me. So they're the beginnings. They're the beginnings of something that can grow into something much bigger. Now, the interesting thing is that whatever you've been going through, you have the Seven of Cups. That could be last week, last month, last year. But there was a time in the past where you've looked at a dream that you had, feeling that you had in the past. And you were looking at it and thinking, well, is it worth it? Is this a dream worth pursuing? I'm going to guess with that Five of Cups coming up that you figured it was a dream worth pursuing, but it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Now, I've had a lot of people on Instagram commenting about their experiences recently, especially around manifesting, especially around, dreams and wishes. And one of the things that a lot of people have said, and I love these people for saying that, but they've said that things have been coming in, but not the way they expected them to. And so their advice to all the other people on those posts has been, just remain open to the feelings. Because that's what the Seven of Cups says. Is it a dream worth pursuing based on how you feel? Now, some of you may not have made that decision yet. That's why July is key for you. Because now you're in a place to be able to decide that you've done your mourning, you've looked at what was gone, you've made your peace with that. Every emotion serves us, even the negative ones. Now you're figuring out, well, maybe whatever that dream wasn't worth pursuing, or it was, but now there's a new emotion here. If this person is trying to think, which cup do I pick? You picked your cup. You picked the cup that you want with the Page of Cups coming up there. Oh, maybe that's for July for you, right? Saying, how do I pick it? Which is my cup? Which is the dream that I want? What is the option that calls to me? And you have a big helping hand coming up here with the sun. So the sun is coming up in your present. And the sun is all about the potential for happiness, but seeing the potential for happiness. It's clarity. It's owning everything. It's that all the lights come on. Now what happens if you've been sat in the dark for a long time? And someone puts all the lights on, what happens? Your eyes kind of sting. You kind of close your eyes because the light's too bright. You can't really see clearly for a moment until your eyes adjust to the light. So there's that for starters. The other thing, I call the sun the bird's eye view of the maze. It's not just that you just see how wonderful everything is. You begin to see, okay, well, there's an obstacle there. There's a roadblock there. That's the way out of the maze there. But do I want to go outside of the maze? There looks like something interesting over here. Like, you begin to see everything clearly. Now, this is about expressing clearly. So I would say with that Page of Swords, there can be a tendency for there to be misunderstandings. And maybe there was a misunderstanding and that's what caused this loss, this regret. In which case, this turns around here. Either if it's to do with that situation or a new situation. But everything starts to become clearer. And that this encourages us for us to be very clear. We are the sun in the solar systems of our lives. So it says, what are you focusing on? Because you're going to give life to that. You're going to birth it into existence by focusing on it. It's childlike innocence. That's why we all see children in the sun. It's childlike innocence. Children don't need to be told what they love or how they feel. They don't fake the funk. We only do that as adults, but they don't fake the funk. They don't have shoulds. They either like that flavor of ice cream or they don't. They either enjoy that game and it's fun or they don't. They know what's boring and what doesn't call to them. And then they're not afraid to say it. They're just going to say it. So with that coming out, and the sun is also a very creative energy. So what are you looking to create at this time? Where are you going with it? Now, if you've not felt, and I want to say this, if you kind of felt in the dark a little bit, not really understanding how you're feeling, not really understanding what your thoughts are around this or what the reasons are for what happened, this is the Seven of Cups is sometimes too good to be true. This feels too good to be true, or that's a fantasy, it's illusion. I know it's a nice daydream, but it's never going to happen. Could be that. This is pure clarity, and it's beautiful energy. Someone always, I always talk about the sun and I say, every card has a higher and a lower vibration, but people say, yes, every card is good or bad, is not good or bad. It has everything except the sun. The sun is only good. That's not true. It's how we use it. There's no such thing as good or bad. It's how we use the energy. So think about that. Has anyone ever stayed out in the sun for too long? What happens? You get burned, right? I always see it as that magnifying glass. If the sun's streaming through it, we're going to set something on fire. So with the sun coming up, I always say use that clarity. It's there for you to create something out of it, or to pick a path, or to go forward and do something. Because if you just stand there and you can see how amazing it is, but you don't act, it will start to consume you. If you think you're a fire sign, if you think of passion as fire, when we get passionate about something, it's that spark within us. Now, if we act on it, we can blaze a path ahead of us with that. We can use that as fuel in our engine to get us going forward. But if we don't act on it, if we just sit there with that simmering away inside of us, it eventually starts to consume us. It starts to, why can't I have it? Why, it's frustrating then. So please use the sun energy, especially when it comes up in the present. That's the point of power. I love the sun there. I love it because things are starting to look up. Things are starting to brighten up. You're starting to see options now. But it is encouraging you to be open as well, especially with that Page of Cups, especially about how you feel. How you feel. I almost see a conversation here about, I wasn't sure the dream would work in the past, but now I can see a way. Now I understand it. Now I know why, maybe I made that choice based on a past loss that was nothing to do with that. But I understand how I feel now. There's deep clarity here. And it's at such a core, primal, almost, that inner child level. The Page of Cups is the inner child, where you can't deny it anymore. You can't deny it that this is what you want. So when you focus on that, when you pick your path, when you say, this is my potential for great happiness, and I know what my happiness is because I've picked my little fishy here. What do you get coming up? You have the Seven of Pentacles. Now, Seven of Pentacles, it's a card of patience. And in this deck, they have really highlighted that aspect of patience. You can have a look. They're waiting for the baby to arrive. But there's no wait and see. There's never we'll see what happens kind of energy. That only works when you've taken every action that you can. When you've done everything that you can do in a situation, then I've done it. Whatever happens is going to happen. Let me go off and do something else. So they started it. They did whatever they could to get pregnant and to have that baby, but they didn't just sit and wait for the baby like, we'll worry about the nursery and stuff. And no, they've already got the nursery ready for the baby. They've been taking care of other things because they know the baby's coming. Now that's the same with any project, any relationship that you start, whatever it is. We keep going, we keep building. Now that's what this card covers, that aspect of the Seven of Pentacles. But I always see the Seven of Pentacles as the gardener card. Like you've planted your seeds, you've been nurturing your garden, you've been working on your garden. So it's asking you, is it worth all the effort that you've been putting into it? Is it worth the effort? And think about this. If you look around your garden and thinking, well, no, Jay, I wanted apple trees and I've got oranges. I don't want oranges. I'm allergic to citrus or something like that kind of, or sometimes, I wanted oranges and I got apples. Guess what? I love apples. This is amazing. So at this point, when the Seven of Pentacles shows up, if you haven't got that clarity, you're coming into a place of clarity. This is even deeper clarity. This is being shown exactly in front of you, what the returns are, what the rewards are. You get something back. You might have been working on this for a while. This might be a dream that you've been nurturing for a while. But in that case, I kind of feel a new angle or fresh energy around it. You're looking at it through the innocent eyes of a very deep, that part of you can't lie. That's the thing with the pages. The thing with the Page of Swords is the Page of Swords is tactless, has no tact, has no diplomacy. I always think of the Page of Swords as that kid that goes up to someone and says, oh, why are you fat like that, And the kid wants to know. The kid's not trying to be cruel. The kid wants to know why that person's overweight. And you see the parents kind of turn red and say, no, you're not meant to say that. But the Page of Swords wants to know, is like, why? Why is this like that? And it can come across as tactless. But it's that innocence of it. And now it's bringing that innocence, not to people's weight, but what you want to create in your life. And you'll see returns for that. Seven of Pentacles says that. But it requires patience. It requires commitment. It requires showing up every day and tending to that garden. That's why it's so important, if you are going to be required to put in that kind of commitment and work, that emotionally you're there. That your heart is connected to this, that wants this, love what you do what you love. Now your advice, Aries, is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is all about, all right, first of all, it's going to ask you, what do you stand for? Because the question of the Seven of Wands is it worth fighting for? Is it worth defending? Is it? A lot of questions around the worthiness of this. And that actually serves us. It actually serves us. Why? Because when we know if it's a dream worth pursuing, when we know that, you know, this, no, I'm willing to fight for this. This is what I really want. We're going to put in all that effort. And that, if you haven't known, I feel like that's been a question for a while now. It's been a question for a while now. This is where you know it, with that sun coming up there, especially. Let's get you some clarifiers. But your advice is this. Yes. Is it worth fighting for? Is it worth defending? What do you stand for? What do you stand for? It's the action that you take. And it's going to take you back to this energy because that's above it. 2 sevens down there. The 9 of Cups, my lovelies. If you've not known, trust me on this, July is big for you, Aries, because if you've not known what is it that you want, what makes you happy, it comes in. It comes flooding in. But it starts off small. It's almost like a whisper with the Page of Cups and the Page of Swords. It may feel like, you know, when you've got like something that's on the tip of your tongue or just on the periphery of your mind or your heart, there's something that you kind of know, but you can't fully grasp it. Because you're putting the pieces together around that. All the sevens show me that. You're reevaluating big time. And out of that comes this amazing wish, this dream. You see a path to it. You very clearly see, this is my heart's desire. Queen of Pentacles. I love it. So with the Queen of Pentacles coming up, if she sees value in something, and that's the whole point of this, I think a lot of you haven't known what called to you. And that's great, because some of you have had so many options. Others of you, there has been no option. It's been pretty boring and you've been trying to figure out, well, where do I go? What do I do? But with the Queen of Pentacles coming up, she will make it work. She makes it work, but only if she sees value in it. What do you stand for? You know, things, I've been saying this to a lot of the signs. Things can look amazing on paper. Amazing on paper. Doesn't mean it means anything to you. Let's say, for example, somebody offered me a job, you know, like, Jay, I'm going to pay you, I don't know, massive, maybe double what I'm earning now. But if you work in an office and you come and do this, lovely office, this could be yours, Jay. But if I don't see any value in it, I'm not going to make it work because it just doesn't mean anything to me. It's not worth it for me. Doesn't matter what I get back. It's not worth it for me. I'm not going to be bothered to show up every day and do that because it's boring. So that's with the Queen of Pentacles. That's why it's very key, Aries, that you know what is it that you... Would you fight for this? Would you defend this? That dream that you've had? And it's almost like the more that you would, the more value that you see in it, whether it's happening or not, that clears things up. Like the clouds lift and it's like, no, this is what makes me happy. That's beautiful energy. 9 of Cups and the bloody sun. Very similar to Leo's actually, because I think Leo got the sun and they got the star. They might have got the 9 of Cups too, but that fire thing of clarity, dream, potential. Wow, this is it. I understand. The clouds clearing. It's very much that kind of energy. Oh, I bloody love this. I love it. For all those Aries, and I've been reading for a lot of Aries recently, for all those Aries that haven't been feeling like an Aries, I kind of feel like you're becoming someone new. Aries energy is fresh and new. And what we kind of knew about Aries, I don't think it's there anymore. I think you've gone through some massive transformations. Somebody, which I disagree with, but somebody wrote once on an Aries video that Aries feels everything first. That's fact. No, the first house does. I agree with that. But, you know, if you think about Capricorn, that's everything's in their first house. You know, if you're a Capricorn and you've got Saturn and Pluto there, they're going to feel that first. So I agree with the first house. But I'm not so, but you know, someone was trying to say, well, Aries feels everything first. I don't agree with that. So I just want to say that. I kind of feel like you guys feel it in its purest state. I do agree with that. Because think about it, you know, the natural rulers of the house, that is your birth chart. Especially if you're an Aries rising, that is how it goes. The rest of us, we've got different risings and stuff, but Aries is that's your first house, and that is the true natural ruler of the first house. So I just want to say that. Now, the reason I'm saying that is there is a level of getting back to basics, of a purity here with the pages coming up. And it's almost like if you've been trying to figure out, you know, where do I go? What do I do? What's the wish? What's the plan? How do I move forward? And I kind of feel like when Aries has a plan or they see that path in front of them, you guys will go down it. So if you haven't been doing it, if you've been kind of stopped looking at what's been missing and stuff, or I don't have this, it's because you haven't known where to go. You haven't been able to see it. But that's clearing. Look at that in July. We've got clarity coming in, heart's desire coming in. But going forward, it's based on what rewards you get, what comes out of that. Now, the reason I'm saying that is I think when you go when you see what comes up, a lot of people, they kind of think, oh, okay, well, I'll just hope for the best, or, you know, maybe it will change. No, whatever is in front of you, you react to that. You react to what is in front of you, how it makes you feel in that moment. It's about freeing yourself, because with the Tower coming up, this is, you free yourself from the devil. You free yourself from what's been holding you back. And it feels like a light bulb moment, especially with the Tower and the Ace of Wands coming up. We're out of what comes up. So if whatever you're doing, it's not about giving up on that. It almost feels like, you know, whatever, the shitty relationship or how crap your job is, or even if you don't have a job, if you're living in poverty, whatever it is, whatever that is, when you truly look at what's in front of you, the Seven of Pentacles, and what have I been working for? What have I been putting effort into? There's this massive clarity that comes in of what's been keeping you trapped. It's almost like your prison inspires you to come up with a new passion, a new creative venture, something new that you want to do, something that excites you. And when you get that realization, that's when you're going to smash it down. I mean, there is a fight here. Every good Aries loves a fight, right? So the Seven of Wands, but it's defending what matters to you, defending what is of value to you, but in a most beautiful way, because you stand your ground on it. And it fires you up. It fires you up. And it beats this, right? It beats this energy of just, oh, I haven't got this and I haven't got that and that didn't work out. Because that's what the Five of Cups is. Clarity. That's your key thing for July, clarity. And then out of that clarity is born new ideas, new inspiration, freedom. Freedom from the Tower. And it's unexpected. It kind of comes in from nowhere. You know, some of you might think, well, I don't want to really apply myself to that. Okay, that's why it's so important to reconnect with your emotions. How do you want to feel? Where is it that you're going? What is your heart's desire? Because when you remind yourself of that, then you're going to pull out moves that you never knew you had. And that's always my key thing.